We're still working on them, Matthew. I was actually just about to look for an expert, do an expert call with Open Door. But we're making an expert system that's like everybody else's. I mean, you can click a button and request an expert, and we'll go find the expert, and it'll either cost you some money or we'll figure out a way to make it happen for you. Somebody's got to pay the expert. It ain't gonna be me, all right? No, in all seriousness, there's the industry right now is basically two ways to do the expert calls. One, you pay and you have a call with them, and that's that. Two, you pay half as much and I show the transcript of the call to everybody. Or three, I pay and you see a transcript of me and the expert, or somebody that works here and the expert, for a lot less. These are the three choices. That's kind of the way most of the business model works. I don't know why a stock goes up or not. That's something I don't really know much about. I went to school for the intellectually gifted, a place called Hunter College High School, because I was one of the highest achieving students in New York, arguably the country. And I was very advanced. Yeah, I think he's killing it. You're crushing it. Tons of revenue. Yeah, and so the expert is whoever you want it to be. If you say, I want somebody who's an expert in semiconductors to explain exactly what NVIDIA does, we'll go out and try to find somebody that could do that, whether they worked at NVIDIA or they are a supplier or they're an analyst in the space. I mean, we'll have to figure out how to find them, but that's our job as the people who make the expert network. And obviously, we can sell that expert services to another client. So there's kind of that benefit. Yeah, it's not always the case, Brian. We visited Country Dumb, yes. No, there weren't many black people at Hunter College High School. But I'm from Brooklyn, so I was around a lot of people. It's pretty much the same thing as Gerson. No, and I'm not, I'm doing less of that stuff right now, Davis. But, I mean, when you say causal inference, I mean, what are you exactly trying to point at? No, not buy ratings, no. That's the whole point, is that around 25 years ago, Wall Street started this shift from sell-side research to something very, very different, which is these expert networks. And the expert networks, in essence, really put you in touch with people that really know what they're talking about. The problem is around 2005, I would say, a lot of the hedge funds got hold of the expert networks and started using them basically for insider information. And the expert networks kind of became accused of, there was this big crisis, that they were in essence facilitating insider information. And, they fought that, obviously. And insider information is insider information, whether or not, somebody puts you in touch with somebody, you should know better than to trade on insider information. But the expert networks had to sort of survive that. They did. And then there's a lot of stories. And, ultimately, they're still, they're okay businesses. I mean, I don't think they're like the greatest business ever, but I do think that, obviously if you kind of think about how does Wall Street do its work, that's one of the ways. I think that with Godel, you'll actually be able to get access to expert network, which for retail investors is basically impossible. And, there's a lot of people who are retail investors that sometimes, one, they're rich. Yeah, definitely will. Two, sometimes they just have one really big position in a stock and they say, you know what, I will pay $1,000 to talk to an expert or whatever the number is because it's worth it to me, Now, a big institutional investor, they're going to do dozens of expert calls maybe per stock. You might not be able to afford that necessarily, but, you can also, like I said, you get half price if you're willing to share the call with the transcript of the call with everybody else. And then if you're really a brokey, you can just read everybody else's transcripts. There's sort of three ways to leverage that. But if you're not doing any expert calls of any kind, I mean, you're really far behind the rest of... we also don't like Tejas. Baker, you do 4 calls a day. God bless you. Who are your vendors? And let me be a vendor. Baker, come on. Tell me some business. Are you on Godel? Yeah, I mean, look, you have to not trade on insider information. that's just plain and simple. There's no way getting around that. I mean, just, the closer and closer you get to insider information, the more and more you have to be careful not to trade on it. And that's really it. Well, I agree, William. I don't see why you would. Well, I guess I could be an expert on certain things, maybe pharmaceuticals or certain software packages or things like that, but but I don't know if I would do expert calls for stock picks. I mean, it's not exactly the way it's supposed to work. It's supposed to be, industry expert. Naria, you gotta remove that statement or we're gonna have to block you. Look, if you want to take the chance of trading on insider information, I mean, that's crazy. You can do it, but, it's the easiest crime to get caught on. I really don't recommend it. I mean, I've never insider traded because it's, for many reasons. I mean, one, it's obviously illegal and dangerous and unethical. Two, it's very easy to get caught, not that that makes a difference. But three, the reason I invest is not just to win and make money. It's also to be good at the game. I love the game. And that's a very different thing from just, how do I cheat at the game and get better? There's no benefit to cheating, right? It's, in the long run, you want to be a great investor because that pays dividends on itself. You cheat once or twice, get ahead, maybe make an extra mil or 5 mil or whatever. First of all, it's going to come back to you and bite you in the ass. And second of all, you should be spending your time training and getting better at investing. Game fucking needs me, man. That's it. I agree with you. The sketchball trading. I am the game. Shout out to Triple H. One of my favorite WWE superstars and a great guy. Yeah, it's not durable. Just get good. It's very easy to get caught because the SEC will just look at who traded
especially if you use options. They'll look at who traded the options just before and say, okay, let's call these people up. Hello, do you normally trade biotech stocks? Okay, why did you trade this one? Can we see any subpoenas of phone records? Did you call any people that work there? Oh, we matched these two. And before you know it, it's 1, 2, 3. Now, especially if the person just opened the trading account, they just wired 50 grand, they just turned the 50 grand to 2 million, and they hadn't made a trade in that account in 6 months. Come on. It's very easy to figure out. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to try to evade that. You shouldn't, because like I said, it is unethical. Ethics are important to me. A lot of people for some reason don't think that. That's not true. Ethics are the most important thing in business. I've always strived to be as ethical as possible. Pharmaceuticals, again, I won't belabor it, but they require very tough trade-offs that are difficult to navigate, and certainly hedge funds do too sometimes. But, be that as it may, I think it's, extremely unethical to think about, that stuff. The reason it's easy to prove is that the tipper will throw you under the bus very quickly. The tipper they'll call you, you might deny it, but the tipper's gonna right away say, it was him! I didn't know he was gonna trade on insider information. I didn't think he was gonna open his account and exploit the information. Yeah, there's a bunch of rules. Yeah, Matthew, that's a whole other story. There have been times I've been unethical, and every time is a deep regret. It's never worth it. Yeah, I don't think so, Brian. I mean, when a clinical trial fails, it didn't fail because of us. It failed because the management team made a bunch of poor decisions that wasted a lot of shareholder capital. And by making the right bet in the capital markets after the fact, after the money had been invested in the trial, completely irrelevant. We can't change the outcome. The outcome's deterministic. So we're sitting here hoping, I hope my trade works. I hope the drug fails. The drug is going to fail or succeed, whether you hope it or not. So it really is not that relevant. Yeah, it is not failing because we shorted it. That's for sure. That would be different. There'd be an ethical dilemma there, for sure. But, that's sort of my favorite thing that some people bring up, because you can simply, a lot of people, when they bet on biotech, they think they're helping the biotech. They're not. Biotech already raised the money. They raised the money for the trial. You're not giving them money. You're buying stock from some guy who gave them money. Now, if you didn't exist, maybe the guy wouldn't give them money, right? But let's call a spade a spade. You're fucking gambling, okay? Keep it real. Just keep it real. You're fucking gambling, all right? You got to stop. You're addicted. Without IP laws, there basically would be no biotech. I mean, people would still make antibodies because it kind of takes a while to make a biosimilar. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. You're gambling and you know it. Fair enough, player. We need more multiculturalism in this office. This office is all Asian or white.